This video will show the List.filter functionality, which we can use whenever we have a list in F# that we want to reduce in terms of size to only include elements that fulfill a certain criteria. This is going to be a very quick video, so let me just show you one application of this function. We're going to create a function here that's going to sum all even elements. So we're going to say sum even numbers, like that. And we're going to take an integer here as input, like that. So the idea behind this function is we want to sum everything up to the integer n. So if the integer is 4, let's say, we would add the even numbers below that. So that would be 2 and 4. So we would expect the output 6. In order to do that, we would instantiate first a list between the number 1 to the number n that we provide. And if you haven't seen my video on initializations of lists, I'm going to link that in the video description. Once we've created our object, what we're going to do is we're going to use the List.filter functionality, and that's a predefined function that you can see here, and we're going to provide a function to this as input. So the argument that this function takes, the filter function, is a function of our own that tells us when to include or exclude a certain object. So what we're going to say is we're going to include x whenever x modulus 2 is equal to 0. In other words, whenever x is an even number. So we do that, and then we sum the results. So list.sum, like this. And this criteria here, or this row rather, takes the list that we just created as an input, and it's going to remove all the objects that don't fulfill this criteria. So what we're going to get on line 4 that we send into this new pipe operator is another list, but it contains fewer elements potentially than the first one. And then we simply sum those up. So what I would do as the output is simply say let my sum equals, and then sum even numbers. Let's see if we can find that. There we go. And then for starters, let's just pick something simple like 4. Let me execute that. I'll do it in F# interactive so we can easily see what happens. And we're just going to give this a second to run through everything. Okay, so we can see that we get 6 here, and that's what we would expect. So if we give this a number 4, then we would expect that it sums up the number 2, which is even, and then the number 4, which is even. So if I extend this, I do the same thing, but I do, instead of 4 here, I do my sum 6, then we would expect 12 as an output. And we can see that we have that as well. And for some big number, the function seems to be well performing. So what I wanted to illustrate is just how this list.filter function works. We start off with a list ranging from 1 to the number that we provide, and filter allows us to reduce or remove all the elements that don't fulfill the criteria specified by the function that we provide here. So it's useful in many applications. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.